Winning Shot family, what's good? What is good, man? We have so much to talk about today. We are on post the NBA 2026 NBA season. Unfortunately, the Knicks have won the 2026 NBA season. They've beaten the Spurs in five. We'll get into that, but we also got some exciting information to talk about in free agency, and we just finished the NBA draft. Hundo, I'm gonna give you the floor. I know the Knicks won NBA Finals, but I'll give you a little bit of time to talk about your Knicks and let me know how you're doing.
I'm doing good, brother. On a high since we won that championship, of course. Um, we got to revisit, the
We
game
do.
before the last game
We
because
do.
we were live at halftime, and the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks made the biggest comeback in NBA Finals history. So we definitely got to go back and talk about that one before we even get to the elimination game
Yeah, you're
because them
right.
boys was down 29 and came back and beat them boys. So shout out to the Knicks. It's up.
Yeah. On behalf of me and John, I can honestly say that I was wrong. It's one of those takes where I had to watch. I had to eat my words in real time, and I didn't think that they were gonna walk them boys like that down. Almost 5 games in a row because the Spurs were up almost every game. But yeah, I'm excited to see a new champion. Obviously, the Knicks have been through a litany of different teams, and they finally got it right. So it was good to see Spike and them win. And Jalen Brunson, man, like as a USC fan, I am an avid Villanova hater. Um, but the narrative around him was that he could never win. Obviously, when he left from Dallas, he was kind of a cast off in terms of the NBA superstardom. Like nobody thought that he was going to be able to get it done. They always thought that either Giannis was going to come in. So I'm excited to see that not only was he able to get it done, but that Villanova crew, Josh Hart, Michael Bridges, and even guys like a Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, who I've been watching the league for a long time, and even Mitchell Robinson finally get a championship. And shout out to Mike Brown as well. Like Mike Brown has been all around the league. He's not only Coach Braun, but we also seen that he's gotten fired from the Kings, he's gotten fired from Cleveland, but he's gotten a ring with the Warriors as an assistant coach, and so he almost was a cast off as well. And so to finally see him win as well, I'm excited to see what this next chapter looks like for him and the rest of the team.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Brown for real, because like it was conversations during the year about like was the Tom Thibodeau firing, justified? Was he gonna be able to get them over the hump? And they was able to do it. They was able to do it. They got it done. He put together the right lineups, man. Played the right players. Players showed up and stepped up in big moments. Uh, and them boys got it done, man. Them boys got it done. I'm glad they did because as we gonna talk about, like the East is only gonna get tougher moving forward. So we gonna see what happen in the years to come. Teams gonna get healthier. Teams gonna make some moves, make some changes. But I'm glad the Knicks took advantage of their opportunity, and they was able to get a championship. You muted.
So I guess like we'll start at game six. Like I guess from the point of view of the Spurs, um, the Spurs beat the Thunder in six, I believe. So no, it's seven. And everybody was crying and hugging each other because they had thought that, they had won the NBA finals after beating the OKC Thunder. And so obviously that wasn't the case, but just the way that they lost these games, like as a I know you're a Knicks fan, but we both were kind of like heavy on, watching Wemby and thinking that the Spurs could start the dynasty. Like as a Spurs fan, how should they be feeling right now?
I think there's hope. I think there's a lot of upside to this. I mean, shoot, Wemby's what, 22, 23, and a lot of that team is very young. So I mean, there's a bright future ahead. I definitely think it's going to be a learning experience for all of them. I mean, Castle didn't have the best performance. I thought Wemby settled a lot for jump shots, as I've talked about before. Um, got to just put his head down and be dominant. You got to be 7'4", got to be 7'5", and find ways to get to the free throw line, score easier baskets down low. You can't just settle for jump shots all the time. But I think it's a bright spot for them. They definitely got some holes to fill. I think they got to address the backup center, and we saw what they did in the draft early on. So we'll see what they do in free agency as well. But I think they're in a good spot. I think they addressed some of the needs already that they need to address, and I think their future's bright for them.
Yeah, from the look of it, like watching them post draft and like going back throughout the season, I could tell the Spurs almost shot themselves because the vets that they brought in, Bismack, Miles, Kelly Olynyk, I think it was really just an opportunity to develop those guys. I don't necessarily think they thought they were going to make as deep as a run as they did, um, because in hindsight, I think you would have a little bit more production from your bench. But I also think like this wasn't like we talk about the young core on the Spurs roster, but it also was a young coach. And I think you could see that with Miss Johnson versus Mike Brown. Like there were a lot of things that I wish he would have done in terms of adjustments. We text offline like this was a whole different Spurs team every time Wemby stepped off the court. And those Cornet minutes, you were just praying that they didn't, lose the lead or get behind, that Wemby had to, kind of force everything back. But I think the Spurs and the analytics team, they had a plan for Wemby's minutes, and it kind of bit them in the foot because I think when you build those leads like that, you keep the gas running, like and you stagger minutes. And even as we talk about later with De'Aaron Fox, like they did not stray away from giving Fox the ball, in clutch time. Obviously Harper was cooking, but they kind of went away from him as the game, got more intense and got more clutch moments. So I think like looking back on it, we can always do the what if like Pop was there or whatnot. But I think Miss Johnson has a lot of learning to do as a coach, just as much as the core has to grow up as a team.
And I mean, that's a good point. But I mean, like, I feel like he's gonna go back to the drawing board. He probably ain't been able to sleep for real.
Yeah.
With the way they lost a lot of those games with the lead, losing the lead, like, and I think to your point too of like Harper and Fox, it's like they have a decision to make because Harper was hooping, and I wasn't necessarily sold on him yet. I thought he was still young, but he showed that he could play at the highest level against other stars when the lights are bright. It might be time to hand him over the keys.
Yeah.
So we gonna see what happened with that because, like you said, he was hooping, and had he probably got those minutes that De'Aaron Fox probably was getting towards the end, maybe they could have won some of them games.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with De'Aaron Fox. Like, people were still saying that he had that high ankle sprain that he was dealing with, and I feel like people were looking for King's De'Aaron Fox, but King's De'Aaron Fox only happens because he's able to beat everybody in the league off of that first step. You could tell that his game has shifted after he got injured, and he was settling for a lot of mid-range jumpers. And because of Wemby and Harper eating, now you're forcing him to be a traditional point guard. And that's never been like his claim to fame, even at Kentucky. He was always known for his size and athleticism. I mean, not his size, but his athleticism and quickness. And I think in that moment, I think I might have texted you this, but like they needed a CP3. They needed a guy that could just say, hey, guys, we're up by 29. We're just going to go and feed the ball to Wemby. We're going to run our actions. We're not going to go in a fast break. I think that's what they needed. And that's not De'Aaron's claim to fame. Hopefully he can mature into that kind of point guard because obviously, your athleticism is the first thing to go as you age. But I think in that moment, he was still trying to give you King's De'Aaron Fox, and I don't think his body was allowing him to do that.
Yeah, and to your point, like they settled for a lot of threes. Like I believe that game where the Knicks came back, like they had made like the most threes in the first half of that game. So like they was lighting it up, shooting it. But it's like, yo, when you have a big lead like that, go to the basics. Get to the free throw line, get the ball inside. You don't have to necessarily rely on the three ball to continue playing. And I think that's a conversation for a lot of teams, in all honesty. Like you look at how the Celtics play, you look at how the Hornets tried to play in the play-in. It's like, yo, you don't have to rely on threes. So hopefully that's a conversation that gets had with a lot of teams moving forward, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was just about to say, as a Celtics fan, I've watched this. I've seen it in real time because, when we talk about living and dying by the three, the first half, they could not miss. And sometimes that becomes a curse because once you miss a couple, you think that the next one's going to go in instead of readjusting your offense. And that's why I think, it kind of played the Spurs. And I really feel like you could tell mentally the Knicks were in the Spurs' head because even if it got around to 12 to 10, everybody knew the Knicks were coming back. There were no adjustments. It felt like they were just bracing for the moment that the Knicks made a return. And I think that just comes down to maturity, because the scary thing is the Spurs were losing these leads, and no game, all five of the Knicks had a good game. Like if everything was clicking for everybody, I think it would have been, a disaster. It could have been 4 easily. So yeah, I agree with you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the Knicks perspective, like how'd y'all do it? Let's start there.
Shout out to Jalen Brunson, especially that last game. Like I was watching, I'm like, it didn't even feel like he had like 45 or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm like, it didn't even feel like he had 45 for real, bro. Like, yeah, he got in that mode and went and kill. But everybody, like you said, everybody chipped in, man. It was Cat the first 2 games. It was OG having a big tip in, having big moments throughout the series, and Jalen Brunson doing Jalen Brunson things. You saw Jose Alvarado even get in the game late in situations and make a difference. So it was really a team effort, gritty performances. Like you said, like they came back in 3 or 4 of those wins, they had to come back. So that just shows the grit, the fight that they had, the connectivity that they had, and the will to not quit and not fold under the bright lights.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what really hurt the Spurs was just the New York's depth, because all before in Cat's career, you had nobody to like back up his stupidity, especially when and getting in foul trouble. But the minutes that he was off the court, there were times where he wasn't even scoring in the fourth quarter. But you had a Mitchell Robinson, you had the Ariel Torrey. They were at least able to be bodies to contain the Spurs during those times. And I think even when you look at guys like Landry Shamet and even Jose Alvarado, like I think it was game 5, like Jose knocked down some big shots and just made winning plays. And like those are the kind of things where the stars can take a rest, is how you define championship teams. Because you look on the other side, like we just talked about, if you ever saw Wemby off the court, everybody was bracing. So I think the Knicks were able to build that roster in a way where people could rely on each other and not have to worry about anybody going out for significant minutes and blowing a lead, or even, making it a bigger lead that the Spurs had.
Yeah, and that was my problem with the Knicks going into the postseason, was like that lack of front court depth. But like you said, to your point, Mitchell Robinson was great in the minutes that he played, even knocked down a couple of free throws here and there. Rebounding was a rebounding machine, and he held it down defensively. He tried his best to, make it tough for Wemby. So I mean, moving forward, we gonna see what happened with free agency and everything, but hopefully we can add some front court depth going into next year for sure.
Yeah. So like going into this offseason, like what do you think the Knicks need to do? Like obviously we'll get into some draft covers, but that roster is starting to get very expensive. Like people were talking about Mitchell Robinson might be gone. Some people were even saying like Josh Hart might be the odd man out and all this. But like looking forward as a Knicks fan, like what do you think y'all need to do to retool to get ready for next season?
You got to try to keep everybody here. That's really the best bet. But if Mitch is gone, you got to find another backup big. I don't think Huck is the answer as the backup big, but I think everybody else is pretty much locked in. I know Mikel's locked in, OG is locked in, Brunson. We'll see what happened with Hart. I know we just got Alvarado back on a 3-year, $15 million deal. So that was a solid pickup. I wasn't too big on Alvarado, but I feel like he showed his worth in the finals, those last couple of games. Feisty defender. So we'll see. But like I said, man, I'm glad we got one. Like I'm not even tripping on like, next year let's try to run it back. I mean, of course we're gonna be in the mix, we're gonna be in the conversation, but I'm glad we took advantage of the opportunity when it was presented to us.
That's a fair point, brother. That's a fair point. Obviously, I think it's 53 years since y'all were able to get to win an NBA Finals. So I definitely think that New York will be happy for a while. So let's go to the other side with the Spurs. So we saw in the draft they made a lot of big splashes in their center position. But what other moves do you think they need to make in order to at least compete for a title next season?
Yeah, like we said, backup big for sure. They drafted what three bigs
Yeah,
in the draft.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. Who ends up getting minutes and stuff. Shout out to Malik Brown too. Duke guy. Had to throw that in there. Hopefully he can make the team and make a little impact. He's a defensive machine, versatility. He can facilitate a little bit as well. So shout out to Malik Brown. But outside of that, like I talked about earlier, Harper, like that's gonna be a big conversation. What you do with Harper and Fox in the backcourt. Shoot, I mean, you was talking about the lack of the bench, but like they had the 6 man of the year. He just gotta show up.
Yeah.
You still got Vasil. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Like we talked about last offseason, like they have the young talent to go try to get somebody if they want to. So if they still want to go out there and try to land a veteran that can actually contribute, that could be a second, maybe third option on that team. Why not? But if not, if you decide to run it back, I mean you got the pieces. You just got to hope that they take another step.
Yeah. I think backup big is, a big concern for them, but I think also having, a stretch wing, a wing that can not, knock down the three consistently, but also generate their own offense. I think that's really what they're missing, because the guys that they have, like even Vassell and Keldon Johnson, I think they go within the context, the rhythm of the game, but I don't think either of them you can give the ball and say, hey, go get me a bucket. And I think that's why Harper popped so much, because Harper was able to, generate his own shot. And, in transition, he was able to finish. I think he's one of the best finishers in the league from what I've seen. But I think that's what they were kind of expected from De'Aaron Fox. But I think they need a quality wing, to kind of complement the big three. So I don't know. Go ahead.
Do you think that like it's a byproduct of how the offense is ran though? Like, do you think that they could be capable of going to get a bucket if they aren't just standing around looking at Wemby or looking at Fox trying to penetrate?
No, because I think
so?
I don't know if I see that with Vasily Keldon. Like, they're great at what they do, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm trying to think of a wing creator. I mean, you could say like a Michael Porter Jr., but I'm trying to think who would be the perfect fit for this team. I mean, low key, I know this will never happen with this stretch, but like a guy like a Franz Wagner, I think Franz is able to create out the dribble, and he's able to get you 20 a night. I don't think you're able to get that same production from Vassell. Vassell was knocking down some big shots, but I think you need more of a scoring threat on, at the 3 and the 4 position.
What about like and this could possibly happen. What about like a Lauri Markkanen?
Yeah, I sent that in the chat. I can see that, but I just don't know what the cost will be, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to get Lauri, and I don't want to give up too much of my roster to get Lauri. When I mean, we're seeing Lauri in the context of Utah. Can Lauri sustain that in June? For the Western Conference Finals and Finals.
Stay healthy. That's the big thing.
Yeah. So I don't know who that is. And
do they bring back Kawhi? What about Kawhi?
If that happens, book it. Book it. I think that's the kind of guy I'm thinking about. Like Kawhi, I'm talking about a healthy Kawhi that's serious in the playoffs, because I don't want the iffiness, but like young. If you can get a splash of young Kawhi, he can, dribble and create his own shot from anywhere. But also, too, he can lock up on defense. I feel like that's the kind of guy I'm thinking about.
I know you're gonna hate this one, but what about LeBron? Could LeBron be that guy?
No, because I think LeBron's still in the mind that the offense has to run through him, and I don't know if
I don't know, bro. He was the third option all season, bro.
Hold on, whoa. Hold on.
He was the third option all season.
For sure, but I feel like with what Wemby, in terms of his development, Wemby needs to be the focal point. I just don't see Bron taking a back seat. And I think the role...
Wemby? You don't think so?
Bro.
You crazy. This man just took a back seat to Luka in AR.
Yeah, but I think even in the context of the season, like the issues that I told you about him taking plays off, not playing defense, is because I think he was trying to hold on. Him trying to conserve his body so that he could take over in late June, which I mean,
Right?
understandable,
Listen,
but I don't think that's what he needs.
if he does that with San Antonio, you got the ultimate rim protector behind you. He didn't have that rim protection in LA.
What Braun am I getting? Am I getting a max Braun or am I getting an MLE like the 15, 20 million? Because that's going to change things too.
I don't know because I don't know. That's a good question. But I mean, I feel like he would take a discount for San Antonio, especially if it's not like a sign and trade type situation. I feel like he would take a discount to go there. They were just in the finals.
We'll see. I don't know if Braun has that mindset, bro. I really don't. And it's no disrespect. I think
it's disrespect there. It's okay.
I don't think he has the mindset to take the back. He has that disrespect.
Nah, it's disrespect there because he literally just showed you that he would take the back seat. Literally, he didn't become the number one option until them boys got hurt, and he had to be the number one option. The man was literally the third option on the team.
I think he did that on purpose because he planned.
Now he did it on purpose.
I'm just saying he planned to do that. He planned to be the number one option. Like I'm not about to see plays LeBron. We know.
I'm mad. I even brought up LeBron.
What are we doing?
Don't even worry about it no more. Goodness.
Speaking of which, let's talk Lakers for a minute. They were looking for Luka requested to have a quality big. And so that must mean that they're saying goodbye to DeAndre Ayton, rightfully so. But there were some talks about Walker Kessler. Even I heard, this morning, Detroit has been going through it with Jalen Duren. Maybe, that could be a move. Let's just kind of round robin some teams. So let's start with the Lakers. What do you think they need to do going into the offseason?
I saw the Jalen Duren thing as well, but I was watching First Take on my lunch break today.
Yeah,
and it was Luka wants an A-type type big man.
Yeah,
Jalen Duren is not an A-type big man. I'm not gonna hold you, but
wasn't he an All-Star? What are we doing?
Colin, don't do that. Because you know exactly why this man is not getting the max contract with doggone Detroit. Because how he looked in the playoffs.
Indeed. I'm trying to. What
I will say, I don't think he's an A type big, but I definitely think he's an upgrade from Ayton, from anybody that they've had in recent years outside of AD. So I mean, shoot, if that's the type of player that you want, a lob threat, he's that guy. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think the big thing is gonna be what happens with LeBron, because they did just lock up AR, 4 years, 100 something million. Luka's there. So I feel like that's the biggest domino right now is what's going to happen with LeBron. Last I saw, they said that it wasn't an offer sent out to LeBron yet. So we're going to see. Because they definitely need to fill out that roster, specifically down low. But it's who do you go get? Because me personally, I'm not sold on Duren.
What's up?
But also, what other bigs are out there that you can go get that's better than Duren, or maybe you try to make a trade from Mobley, maybe, and that's a reach, because I don't even know if they're willing to let him go.
Yeah, you kind of get into the Hartenstein conversations if he's available, and I think if that's a strikeout, then you probably get into the Rob Williams conversations. I don't know what other bigs are out there. Maybe, since they went Morez Johnson Jr., see what Dallas is on in terms of your bigs. You still got, I think they're going to keep Lively, but if Gafford's on the market, try to rebuild that Mavericks team that went to the finals, because I think that's kind of the formula with having Kyrie, and I know Austin Reeves is nowhere near Kyrie, but he's still a creator in that backcourt that can kind of take some of the pressure off of Luka, and then you just fill it up with bigs and 3-and-D guys.
Hey, do you consider bringing back AD? I don't know what it would take, but if he don't want to be in Washington, I have to get on that phone.
Yeah, take and I just don't know all the financial components of it
Yeah.
because I mean he's still making a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and you just gave AR that contract, and then the question is like you said, what is Braun going to do? Is Braun going to come back on that mid-level exception, or is he going to request a max? That changes the entire roster because now you essentially will have four people making high money in the league.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think LeBron is gonna take that max, man. Unless he goes somewhere else and they just got the money to give him, cool. But like, if he truly trying to win, I don't think he gonna go to anywhere that's a true contender and take that max deal. I don't think he would do that at this point in his career, unless they just had the money to give him.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I just don't see Braun taking the mid-level exception because it's like I saw a report on Twitter. Somebody said that Brian Windhorst was talking about how the Lakers are very open to trading Braun for Jared Allen. I think Braun sees all the disrespect, like even from the winning shot. Like I'll be the first one to tell you, it's like I think he sees that, and he still sees some player himself as a top 10 player, and I think him taking the max would be him giving up, and I just don't see Braun ever being like that because Braun wants to go out on top, and I think on top is not just with another championship, but also being seen as one of the top players in the league.
Sacrifice. I told you this earlier. Sacrifice. People got to be willing to sacrifice, man. And like he talked about too, though, like it depends on what he wants. Like we've talked about this before with other players and other teams. It's like, do you want a championship or do you want money? Everybody can't get both of them. So I mean, Brian, we know that you at the end, bro. What do you want? Do you want another big payday? You want one last big payday, or do you want to win a championship and compete for a championship? Pick a side, because you probably ain't gonna be able to get both with this last deal, brother.
I don't know.
And it's okay, bro. I'm not gonna be mad if you decide to take the money, bro. I'm not gonna be mad at all. You deserve that, LeBron. But pick a side.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm cool. Like Braun has been carrying the league since I was a kid. Like Braun deserves the money, but if he's gonna get the money, let's properly define what this season is gonna be. Because if he takes the money, then the roster is gonna be depleted. So let's make this a farewell tour. Let's get you out the paint, and like let's move on to the next chapter. But we can't be playing dilly and dally like this.
So let's say let's play hypotheticals here. If he takes the max, where would you want to see him go?
Cleveland, finish it off. The story is complete.
Okay. Next question. Second part of that question. If he goes to Cleveland, what does the roster look like?
James, Donovan, Braun. I don't know if they still have Mobley because they were talking about us trading them. I don't know if that's included in the Lakers trade. One of them, either Jarrett or Mobley, and then you got Merrill, Strus, and guys, Dean Wade. Yeah.
All right, and then my third question. Saying all of that, where does that get the Cavs next year?
Second round.
Okay.
And I think that's befitting. I mean, they'll probably lose to us. I mean, there's going to be teams in the East I think are just going to be better and younger. And we know what James is in the playoffs. But I think, if he goes out at least competing, even if it goes, 6 or 7 games in the second round, and they just lose, cool. It's over. Let's start to focus on ownership, Braun, whatever he wants to do in this next chapter. But I'm done with the 1-and-1s. And, if he's going to come back next year, nothing. No, let's be done.
Man said, go home, old man.
It's just time, bro. Like, it's not. He had one of the best careers in the NBA ever. But the thing is, we've seen it with a number of different stars across sports. People don't know how to end things. Then it gets ugly, and then now it's like I'm playing this max player. I'm paying Patrick Ewing a max, and he's sitting at the end of the bench with ice around his knees. Like at some point, it's like, what are we doing here? We got to move forward.
Okay.
Where do you want to see Brian end his career?
I don't know, bro. I feel like I know for a fact that he's not going to no sorry team, bro.
For sure, no.
Like, he's not going to a sorry team. So I feel like whatever team he's on, they're gonna compete. probably make the playoffs more than likely. I don't know, bro. I honestly don't see him going back to Cleveland. I wouldn't want to do that. I would probably try to stay out west. And I know that's a tougher role from like a basketball standpoint, but like I'm just thinking about from like a comfortability standpoint, being 40 something years old. Like I feel like he would probably just want to be out west in good weather. Or maybe Miami. Maybe Miami. Possibly.
That's a possibility.
If he goes to Miami, that could be interesting. I still think they need to get some shooters, but that would be interesting to see what that looks like.
But once again, what kind of Braun are we getting? Are we getting Max Braun? Or are we getting mid-level?
Well, I think he would have to take a pay cut going there.
Yeah,
I don't think Max. And I feel like both sides would be fine with him taking a pay cut. Like he already has a relationship with Spo, with Pat Riley, so I mean, I feel like he would be fine taking a discount to go there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm down with that. Like, if you can get mid-level exception right, and the thing is, like, you can work around the mid-level exception. I think you could have, let LA pay some of his max or whatever. But I think, like, I just think we got to be honest with what Braun is. Like, when I was in middle school and high school, he should have been paid more than the max because he could carry Matthew Dellavedova, he could carry Shane Battier, he could carry all these guys by himself at least to the finals. Now it's just like Braun has to be honest with himself and say, hey, this money needs to go to the younger cats, the guys that can actually move the needle. And if he was doing that as a $15, $20 million player, now it gets scary because in June, I think he does have the, at least 2 series in him to take over. And now you got a great roster around him. And I just don't know if he's in that mindset yet.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, at some point you got to get there though, bro. Like you said, the bad 41, bro. Like, you got to sacrifice something, bro.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other move because we mentioned Miami. So we got the news a couple of days ago that Giannis, the deal had finally happened. He had been traded to Miami for a couple of nice players.
Khalil Ware,
Kristaps Jakovich, I forgot his name,
and Tyler Hero.
Yeah, and pick swaps. How you feel about the trade, brother?
I'm glad it finally happened. I feel like we've been talking about this the past like 2 summers. It seemed like, and I don't know what finally pushed it to the finish line, but it happened. It didn't seem like they had to give up too much for Giannis. I wasn't mad at it from both team standpoints. I like Hero going there. An opportunity to be a one type person. They got Hawkes, got Khalil Ware, got some size down there with Miles Turner and Kuzma. You got Ryan Rollins still over there, so they probably still gonna compete. Maybe be in like the play-in type situation in the East, and then for Miami, you get a All NBA type player. Pair him with Bam. You got Davion Mitchell. We're gonna see what happened with Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, and if they could possibly get Braun or who they can bring in, who else they could bring in free agency, but they're gonna be right there in the mix as well. I can see them anywhere, 7 or higher in the East, and we gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I like the trade contingent on the other moves that are made, because you don't make any other moves, there's no difference between this and Milwaukee. I feel like Miami.
I don't know. You talking about from Milwaukee or you talking about from Miami?
I'm talking about from Milwaukee. Like, I'm just saying from his time in Milwaukee, if you don't make any changes, you're still going to be dealing with he needs another piece to get over the hump. Because I don't think this team currently constructed is beating anybody out west, nor do I think the top seeds in the East are worried about just Giannis and Bam. So like you said, I think they need some other moves. I think they need to make another splash in order to at least be contenders.
I don't know, bro. I feel like Giannis is a step up from Hero. I feel like Hero and Bam is not as good as the duo of Giannis and Bam.
No. What I'm saying is, his time in Milwaukee, like when he was still healthy, they couldn't get over the hump, even with him and Dame.
They got a chip though.
Yeah, I'm talking about post chip, like when they brought in Dame and tried to get another one. I'm saying that time when he got frustrated
That
was
was
because
different. That was different.
how? How was it
Dame
different?
got hurt.
Okay.
He couldn't figure out how to play with Giannis.
Okay.
I feel like they're gonna be better off without a ball dominant guard with Giannis and Bam being able to play together. And Bam actually plays defense.
Well,
I
where
feel
is the
like,
shooting?
of course, they got to get some more shooting, but like, I feel like it's currently constructed, they can still potentially make it out the East.
I don't think currently constructed. I still think they need to move.
I don't know. We're gonna see. I don't think the East is that crazy.
I mean, I still feel like, I mean, granted, I don't know. Obviously, we'll get into it with JB, but I mean, I don't see them beating the Celtics at currently constructed if everybody's healthy.
I think they could beat y'all.
I don't. No. I think
They got the length, and they gonna be able to defend, bro.
and that's cool.
On them?
I mean, we've been saying that about Miami for years. Like, yeah, they can defend.
This is different though. This is different. You got two all NBA defensive type players on the same team.
Okay. We do too.
I'm not worried about y'all, bro. Y'all shoot 3 threes, bro. Y'all gonna shoot yourself out the game, bro.
Yeah, and I know Miami's not. So it's like
exactly. They gonna dominate down low. Who's y'all big? No,
we can go.
Who's y'all bigs? Huh?
Cater? We still got Quater. Like,
you think he's stopping Bam and Giannis?
Who's stopping JB and JT?
Giannis and Bam.
Okay, I'm sleep.
Okay. Davion Mitchell missed the night off.
Okay. All right.
Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, they gonna be able to defend, bro.
Okay. Let me know when you want to have a serious conversation, because
this is very serious.
I don't see that at all. I mean, it's cute. Like, it sounds good on paper, but I feel like we're gonna be sitting there in February wondering why they're still middle of the pack, almost playing team. I don't see that. I mean, I think
we gonna see where y'all at too.
Okay. I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but obviously I think there's some frustration in the locker room. But I'm saying, if we had brought the same team out now, oh my gosh, yeah.
If y'all brought the same team out now, it ain't gonna be no team.
I mean, we still got people on the team. Like, obviously there's just disgruntled people, but yeah,
exactly. Exactly. That messes up team chemistry and on the court play.
Yeah, and Miami has it. We don't even know if Giannis and Bam can play together. We think.
Watch. Like I said, if all else fails, they'll be able to defend.
Okay, I got you. 88 to 76 games, I guess.
Hey, it's gonna be 2005 out there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Detroit Pistons.
Weird. I forgot where we were. Anyway, I think I feel like it was time for both sides. I do think there's another move to be made still. I don't know where you stand on Ja, but I feel like this kind of roster would fit Ja. Ja don't play no defense, but I think that
Miami. You talking about Miami?
Yeah. What they said is still a move to be made. So I don't know what it is. If that's Kawhi, Ja, I'm trying to think.
That's a headache.
Hopefully, bro can turn his career around. That's my thoughts. And I feel like
if I got a hope for that, I don't need him on my team.
What's the other piece? Because they have to get another piece, bro.
Kawhi, LeBron. There's other pieces out there.
Okay, so obviously in that scenario, are you signing and trading Norman? And
if I can get Kawhi?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, what would be the trade? Like, is it just you're gonna have Kawhi and you're gonna trade?
You can get Wiggins. I give you Wiggins. I give you Powell if that's what you want for Kawhi. I'll do that.
But the Clippers gonna ask for more for that for Kawhi.
Give them some picks.
Okay.
They literally just traded 3 or 4 of their role players just now for Giannis. They ain't gonna be able to trade their whole team.
That's what I think it's gonna take. Because I don't think the Clippers going for it, bro. Like, no, it's Kawhi. You're not. It's not a Trae Young situation. Like,
How old is Kawhi?
gotta be mid-30s, 33.
He gotta be older than that, bro. Ain't no way he 33, bro. He 33? If he 33, okay, yeah, you might have to.
He's 34.
How old?
34.
When he turned 35?
Next June.
Oh dang. I thought he was older than that. I ain't gonna hold you. But yeah. I would have to look at their roster, but you would think that Wiggins, Norman Powell, and some draft picks would be enough. I would think. Looking at what everybody else had to give up to get those type of players.
But my thing is, bro, it's like the market is slim, and
because my thing is, if I got to give up my whole team, I'm not getting Kawhi. I'm gonna go get somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Ja would be a buy low option that could have crazy potential. Because even with Kawhi, you're saying that, but Detroit's going to offer something even more than that. You're going to have the price is going to be driven up regardless because it's Kawhi. But when you get other teams involved, I don't think that Miami has a package that LA will prefer over the other teams that can give way better packages.
And I'm telling you, that buy low option of Ja, not it. You can go find a different point guard in that. I just feel like he's going to be more of a detriment to the team than he is a catalyst to the team. Because once again, like you said, where's the shooting going to come from? If I'm going to get a guard, I need some shooting. I don't need you to be able to attack and get downhill. I don't think that fits with what they need at this point. You already got your rim runner in Giannis. He gonna get downhill. He gonna get to the free throw line 15 times a game. You don't need another player that can do the exact same thing that's shorter. Go get some shooting. I feel like they just build out this roster at this point. If you can bring back, Powell, if you could bring back Wiggins, go add to the bench. Get some shooters, get some guys that can shoot and defend. That's how you build out a roster.
Yeah, I just don't think that's enough to win a championship to me personally. Like, I think there needs to be another move that needs to be made. I mean, you can go get like a Tim Hardaway. You drafted Ryan Conwell. I'm trying to think who else there. Maybe try to go get Duncan again in a trade. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of who. I feel like you still need one franchise piece in order to solidify them having a chance. Because, I mean, even if you build out the roster, it's like, hopefully Norman can give you the same production. Andrew is getting older. Like, that roster is still bad to me. Like, I think it's very mid.
What would it take to get Jaylen Brown? If you're Miami and you don't want to give up Giannis and Bam.
I mean, pick swaps, picks. Norman, obviously.
Would you take Wiggins?
I don't know. I think it might be one of those, we trade them and then cut them. Yeah, I think even that's still not enough because, like you saw this morning, Portland is trying to get Jaylen, and I think Portland is going to be able to give you more higher picks and pieces. So I don't think that can get done in Miami unless Jaylen Brown says he wants to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that kind of player would fit. I mean, he gives you offense, he gives you still that defensive stability, and he can create in the backcourt. Right now, I just don't see that. So we'll see. Like you said, for Milwaukee, you still got Ryan Rollins. I think Tyler's definitely going to have a uptick in terms of points per game, obviously, because he's going to be a franchise centerpiece now. You still got Miles, I believe, and then Bobby went with Giannis in the trade. But I think in terms of the rebuild, I like it for Milwaukee because even if you wanted to go get a star, you got a bunch of assets now you can package up, and it keeps you in the middle of the pack because now that the lottery instructions and the lottery requirements have changed. You don't need to be bad in order to get a top pick anymore. You can still be middle of the pack and have a chance to go get a top guy in this year's or next year's draft. And I think Milwaukee, the thing with Green Bay was like they needed homegrown guys in order to build the roster because nobody wants to go to Milwaukee as a free agent. And I think because Tyler Hero is from around there, it kind of helps in terms of having a guy who actually wants to be on Milwaukee as you build around him. And I think he's kind of one of those guys that, had kind of been in the shadows, even in the Jimmy Butler years, like he was kind of seen as the second option. Now we'll see what kind of Tyler Hero we get as the first option. And he has support around him because I think Ryan Hollins takes a jump this season. It's really just all going to be around. It's Taylor Jenkins, right? He's the coach.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around him and what that looks like. But I think even those early Jai years, one of Taylor Jenkins' strong points was he was able to take young guys and average rosters and make them pop. So hopefully the same thing happens with Milwaukee because I think they could be, at least a decent playing team, maybe playoff team, 8th, 7th seed going into the next season.
Yeah, we're going to see. Like you said about Hero, like we saw him make an all-star, we saw him be a 6th man of the year. Now you get to be that first option. So hopefully the ball is in his hand a lot. We're gonna see what he's able to do.
Yeah. So I thought we were done after the Giannis trade, and then
we was just getting started.
We were just getting started. I looked on Twitter one night, and it just all of a sudden people started talking about LaMelo, and Shams reported that in the next 24 to 48 hours he could look to be traded, and woke up and the trade had happened. LaMelo had been sent to Minnesota for Naz Reid and pick swaps. I guess let's start from the obvious, the Minnesota standpoint. Ant has been begging for help after the Cat trade, and he wanted another piece. He wanted them to make a big move, and this was their big move. So I guess that Melo, Jaden McDaniels, Ant, Rudy, and maybe I don't know who you run at the 3 now. Like, how do you see the trade from Minnesota's perspective?
Yeah, they brought back Ayo the other
day. Ayo did something. Yep.
So we're gonna see. I think that's interesting to pair those two together. We talked about this before about Ant-Man possibly, wanting out. I think this keeps him around a little bit longer, at least this year, to see how it looks, to see how it works. I hate to see Naz Reid go. I'm a big Naz Reid fan, but it was time to do something. They had to do something. So I'm glad that they decided to do something, but we gonna see what happens. I think that they definitely, like I told you in the group, they're gonna be able to sell tickets because both of them boys are entertaining. People like to see LaMelo, people like to see Ant-Man. So at worst, they're gonna sell tickets. Hopefully LaMelo can stay healthy. I was talking to one of my coworkers earlier. I'm like, bro, he's only played over 70 games, in 2 seasons? So hopefully he can stay healthy. But like we talked about before, they needed a point guard. Even looking at them, the year before this past season, they had Mike Conley starting. He kind of went to the bench this year. But LaMelo's immediately gonna come in and be that starting point guard. It's gonna be interesting to see how both of them can play alongside one another. But like I said, they're gonna sell tickets.
Yeah. So I think from Minnesota's standpoint, it's obviously more exciting. I think, it's going to be box office in terms of watching LaMelo and Ant play together. I just don't think it's enough in order to win a championship. It's a step in the right direction. The problem is, like we've said multiple times on this show, it's a ticking time clock with Ant in terms of asking out. And we all know where he wants to go. And I think the NBA, the league wide, are preparing for that kind of trade, which is why I think some of these moves are being made so that they have the assets to, make a reasonable offer. The only problem with LaMelo, and I said in the group, was just his availability. He hasn't been on the floor enough in order to give an honest take on whether he can be a winning player in a winning organization. Like, I think he's blessed to have Zion because people have been talking about Zion, but if you actually look at the numbers, he's sat out just the same amount of games. I feel like, he's kind of been able to hide. I think even just his play style alone, I told, the guys, is like, there's a reason he got benched. And I think some of that comes from immaturity. I think some of that just comes from play style. And, obviously he was able to come back and make the game winning shot in the playing game. But I think it signaled deeper issues within that Hornets culture. And I just don't know if that's necessarily going to be conducive to winning a championship in Minnesota. I like the fit from needing a point guard, but I think they need a grown up as well. And I don't know if LaMelo is going to be that for Minnesota. And I just feel like for that roster as a whole, like the lack of defense, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your Rudies and Jaden. And if you don't win this year, now the money gets kind of tricky because you got guys on that roster, Jaden and Rudy, who are making big money along with Ant. And now you bring in a guy who is who was paid max money, and your bench is going to be depleted. And then the IO contract just didn't make sense to me personally. I mean, I watched the guy in Chicago, and I think he got paid for his production in the playoffs. But to give him that kind of contract, it just signaled dysfunction in leadership, because those kind of contracts, it kind of hurts in terms of getting off of him. Because if you try to get off of him, you're gonna have to attach a first to it, and now all your picks are tied to the Hornets. And I just feel like you make this kind of move if you feel like you're not I said Super Bowl, the NBA Finals are bust, and I just don't think that they're there yet.
See, I get what you're saying with the IO contract, but I feel like Ant-Man played a part in that. Like I feel like they've probably been in constant communication with Ant on what he wants. And I think that's probably why you saw them try to go get LaMelo, right? They had to make a splash. I know they said they were interested in trying to get Jaylen Brown, but LaMelo is probably a cheaper, safer option. Probably had to give up less to go get him. But one, I feel like I said, like I got to see how them two play together. Like you said, LaMelo is a little bit immature, but like the way he plays is like he's gonna get his shots. Ant-Man's gonna be looking to get his shots. Gotta share the ball. We gonna see. I feel like this is a 1-year rental though, in all honesty. Like I feel like they're gonna see how this look with these two. If it don't look good, I can see Ant requesting a trade. I can see LaMelo requesting a trade. And there ain't gonna be too much that they could do about it. Because the way the NBA is, it's a players' league. So if somebody don't want to be somewhere, they're gonna get shipped. More than likely.
For sure. But I think that's my thing. Is like I agree. I think this is a 1-year project, but the amount of capital that you traded for this, it was like it was asinine to me, because I feel like Charlotte fleeced. Now, granted, you're gonna probably get those boatloads of picks back if Ant ever requests a trade, but it's just like Minnesota, you have to think about your future as well. And I just don't necessarily think you're in a position to make that kind of move, because I just feel like that move is not necessarily moving the needle in the West. And we gotta hope that LaMelo stays healthy. What if he's sitting on the bench in February and they're a bad team again? Charlotte is gonna be celebrating. So yeah. I think it's a risky move.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But I guess on the other side with Charlotte, I think they were ready to turn the leaf. Like I said, when he got benched, I feel like internally people were ready to move on from LaMelo. Obviously, it kind of got harder once he, started, cooking with those guys, and even, getting into the second round of the play-in. But I really think the dangerous thing is it's going to put a lot of pressure on, number one, Brandon Miller being the number one piece. Collin has to take a step up. We never seen Collin as a shot creator, but he is a shot maker. So hopefully we can keep that. He can keep that same persona going into another role. What scares me is just his performance in the play-in, about when that shot is not hitting. But you still have some quality pieces. You got your big and Diabate, and even they got the Haynes White from Washington, who was a nice piece. Like, he was low-key killing. There's some nights I watched him, and he averaged 18-11 in Washington. So I'm curious to know what that looks like. Obviously, you got Christian Anderson from Texas Tech. But I just really feel like moving on from LaMelo was a signal to their culture, where they're ready to have a full culture shift in their organization.
Yeah, I think it was time. We have been bringing it up on the pod for months. At some point, they was gonna have to make a move. And I think that they saw what this youth movement was doing down there with Brandon Miller and Khan. They saw how Kobe White was playing in the play-in as well. Um,
Yeah.
I honestly don't think they're done though. They could still move Miles Bridges if they want,
Yeah.
and go get some more pieces. I think they gotta build out their bench. But honestly, like if they decide to keep Miles, it's gonna be interesting because who comes off the bench? Because you got Kobe White, you got Khan, you got Brandon Miller, you got Musa, Nas Reed, or Miles Bridges. If they can keep both of them, that'll be interesting because now you have a bench piece, whether it's Miles or whether it's Nas, that can come off the bench and provide a punch. But if they decide to move Miles, I feel like they can still go out and get, a star caliber player if they're willing to move off of Brandon Miller as well. I know we talked about Jalen Brown in the chat. If they were able to, pull the pieces together, they got a lot of draft picks. They got like what 12 draft picks or something like that, like in the years to come. So I mean, they got the assets to try to go get somebody if they wanted to, if they're willing to, move Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I really think they just need to. I think this is one of the teams where they just need to keep the status quo before they look to make any big trades. Because I feel like you have a lot of players like Kalkbrenner, 7'2", big from Creighton. I think they still got Liam McNeely from Connecticut. I just want to see what those players are before we trade them, because I feel like they could be in a situation like Boston where you have like a Jordan Walsh or Baylor Sherman who are nice pieces that with another year they can be valuable assets to include in the trade. And like you said, this is a players' league. I don't put it past any star to want out next year. And so, the pot is always going to be open. So I feel like don't make any immediate moves now. Continue to build out the guys you have and don't expect to win the NBA Finals. I feel like people talk about, post All-Star break, Charlotte looked like one of the most unbeatable teams, but they were looking like a lottery team before that. So I think there needs to be some development amongst their roster, and I think it really starts with the culture shift that I think they're doing already.
Do you think the LaMelo trade will set them back?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's LaMelo. Like regardless of how I feel about him, he still is a superstar and, one of the top point guards in the league. I just feel like they were willing to take a step back right now to set themselves up for the future, because who knows what was happening in that locker room. And I feel like just in terms of the culture, what would have set them back even more if they would have just been waiting on LaMelo to change his act, and then LaMelo leaves in a free agency. So I feel like short term is going to look ugly for Charlotte, but I think you won't be able to see the impact of this trade for 2 to 3 years down the line for Charlotte.
So you're under the mindset that they shouldn't make any more major moves this offseason.
No. See what you got with Kobe White and obviously the rest of that roster. And I mean, probably add 1 or 2 more vets, but you just kind of develop those guys. Like every team ain't trying to win every year. And I think they're one of the teams where you need to be honest with yourself.
But I don't on the opposite hand of that, it's like, yo, we made the play in, we took a step in the right direction. We don't want to go backwards. Maybe they're of that mindset. And maybe they try to go get a big fish.
But the problem with that in Charlotte's not a premier free agent destination. And what happens with teams like that, you start to overpay for guys who are very, a slightly above average. And now you're stuck with this bad contract with a guy who's not necessarily moving the needle for your roster. So
So question, you're talking about free agency and paying people. What if they try to go trade for somebody?
Well, number one, I don't know who that is. That
I'm talking Jaylen Brown. That's who I'm talking about. I'm gonna be real specific here. What if they could try to go get Jaylen Brown? What does that do for the Hornets if they're able to pull it off?
Nothing. I think they'll make the playoffs, maybe, but I don't think Jaylen Brown wants to stay there. So it's like you need it, like Milwaukee. Like you can make a trade for a person, but I think Jaylen Brown will be gone in a heartbeat once his contract is up or request another trade. I think.
Why do you say that though? Like, why do you think he would be gone?
Because I think Jaylen Brown ultimately wants to go to Atlanta. And I think that he wants to be in a big market. You go from Boston, one of the top markets in the NBA, and then go to Charlotte. Like, I think none of his games, maybe a couple of games, will be nationally televised. And I think Jaylen Brown wants to build his brand, and I just don't think that's conducive in Charlotte.
See, I just feel like he just wants to be the first option.
And that's cool. He can get that in Charlotte, but that would never be a championship roster.
They could build around him. What you mean?
I think it's going to be an AE situation, bro. Like,
I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. I feel like they kind of better off than AE right now than AE is or was in Minnesota. If they were able to get him, depending on what they have to give up, of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying the archetype in terms of like, okay, Jaylen Brown gets there. You're probably going to have to trade him a boatload of assets to Boston, and you're going to be trying to figure out for the next 3 to 4 years of what player can work around Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's going to have some 40, 50-point games, and he might, carry you into the playoffs, but you're never going to be a team that wins or makes it out of the East or wins the West. So it's like, what are we doing? Keep the guys that you have here and develop.
They could, though. How you know that, bro?
They're not.
I feel like, and to your point of like trying to figure out who fits around him, that's going to be the case everywhere. You can say that about every team.
For sure. That's why.
So why Charlotte can't do it?
That's why I'm like, he needs to stay. I'm in team him staying. But I just feel like the thing is, you're going to give Jaylen Brown a max, and it's going to look cool. It's going to sell tickets the same way as Lamelo and Ant. It's going to sell tickets, but you're not getting anywhere. Jaylen Brown, if he went to Charlotte, he would not win an NBA championship. I'm stamping that.
What if he don't want to win?
We ever thought Charlotte made a good move? Like,
what if he don't want to win, Collin? Maybe he just want to be the first option.
Okay, I thought Charlotte would signal trading away a person who I don't think really wants to win with LaMelo. You just go get somebody else who doesn't. That doesn't make sense to me. That is asinine.
It's hidden. With LaMelo, we knew he wasn't trying to win. With Jaylen Brown, we don't know, and he's already won. So maybe he wants to win again. Who knows? All I'm saying is, why you counting Charlotte out? Why you don't think they're gonna be able to build a championship caliber team around Jaylen Brown? Now, Grant, I understand they've been a poverty franchise. I get it.
They're losers.
I understand. They are. Historically, they're losers. They might have turned the page. Maybe Jaylen Brown is the answer they've been looking for all these years.
Hey, so what does that trade look like? Is that Brandon Miller and throw in Sion and picks? Like, what is that trade? Diabate?
I'll give you Miles and Brandon Miller because Miles is on the expiring contract. His contract, he'll be a free agent after this year. I'll give you Miles and Brandon Miller and some picks.
I don't think Miles. I mean, Brad wants Miles.
Why not?
Because we need a big. I think he wants Diabate, Miller, and picks.
You can get that too. We got Nas Reed.
That's it? We got Nas Reed? Like what? Come on, man.
You just said they got the young boy. What's his name?
Kalkbrenner.
Okay. And they got Nas Reed.
Okay. I feel like second year Kalkbrenner is not winning you a championship. So I feel like he should.
Bro, he can develop. You was just talking good about the man.
Exactly. So Jaylen Brown is not on the timeline of trying to wait for people to develop the team, and when they're ready, then you can talk about making trades. But these guys are not ready to win a championship.
How you know?
Because
listen. People didn't think the Spurs was ready. They made it to the finals.
They got Wemby. That's totally different.
They got Jaylen Brown and Con in the East. They just made the play in, bro. You acting like Jaylen Brown just didn't carry y'all, bro. You acting like he didn't just carry y'all. That was the 2 seed.
But
carried y'all.
You saw where they ended up, bro.
Why he can't carry Charlotte?
Because he can carry as much as he wants to, but that team is never going to win. That team,
you don't know that.
I do. I promise you. I guarantee it.
You don't. You don't know.
I guarantee it. That team is not winning, bro. And you know
you're gonna be sick when Charlotte win, boy. I can't wait. I can't wait till Charlotte win. Well, if they ever win.
Yeah, 2053. I guess we'll be on the winning side.
2053. Y'all heard it here first. He said 2053, Charlotte. He'll believe in y'all.
2053. That team is not winning with no Jaylen Brown. Especially if they got to get rid of pieces. Oh, no. Dear God, no. Yeah. Let's keep going. Speaking of which, let's start there. Let's go to the Celtics. So obviously, with the Giannis trade, it was between us and the Heat. We missed out, and the rumor was that it was Jaylen Brown and 2 first, and we just wouldn't include Hugo Gonzalez in the deal. And so I think Milwaukee was waiting on us to include more. We weren't budging, but now that the news has gotten out, it seems to be that Jaylen Brown wants out. He wants his own team, and that there's been a lot of disgruntled people in the locker room. I've seen trades with Portland. I've seen trades with New Orleans. And I honestly, I think he wants to go to Atlanta. But I guess before I go, like from the Celtics standpoint, how do you see this turning out for us? Don't piss me off like that. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, man. Jaylen Brown about to be out of there. Like I said earlier, this is a players' league, man. If somebody don't want to be there, they going to be gone. Jaylen Brown's about to get traded. Whether it's this offseason, halfway through the season, he about to be gone. Because, bro, you're not about to be disrespecting me, including me in trades. My pride and ego is going to get the best of it. And we know that brother is prideful. That man already said he want to be the top option. He showed you what he could do last year, carrying the team, put the team on his back. If JT comes back and they're like, oh, JT is the one, JT's our guy, JT is him. More attention. That man about to get traded, bro. It's been real. I'm glad y'all got a championship out of it, but his time is about to be up.
Yeah, as a Celtics fan, like, I'm happy we won. But also, too, it's one of those things where you invested. You have 2 all-NBA guys, 2 all-stars, 2 superstars, and we should have at least had 2. The one with Steph, we should have had that one. And now I think the bridge has been burned, bro. Like, just seeing how everything is turning out. Like, man, I saw one with Trey Murphy and Jordan Poole. And I'm like, man, this is Jaylen Brown. Like, for Christ's sakes. And I just think that they're just trying to move on, which is, I feel like, one of a mistake from Brad Stevens, personally. And I really
hey, you funny, bro. This man said, this is Jaylen Brown.
This is Jaylen Brown, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I'm really starting to get mad. Like, I'm really having to, like, calm down because, like, it's pissing me off some of the trades that I'm seeing because Jaylen Brown is a superstar. And the thing is, bro,
but he can't leave Charlotte.
No, be quiet. Be quiet. This is my block. This is my block. Like, hey, dang. I feel like it messed up when Jaylen Brown carried for us in the second. We got to be the second seed. And then when Tatum started to come back, nobody talked about what Jaylen Brown. It started to become like, oh, Tatum's going to help carry us to the finals. And I feel like Jaylen Brown was disrespected. Rightfully so. Because when you boil it down, talent-wise, I think that both of them are neck and neck. And Jaylen Brown has a finals MVP. And the way he's been treated, I get why he is the way he is. So I don't even put it on Jaylen Brown. I put it on us and how we handle that situation. But I feel like now, because we're doing damage control, like, even if he doesn't want to be there, bro, it's going to be unpopular. I think we should keep him. Because if we act in desperation, we're going to give him away for corn chips. And I think that would be a bad business move because the pieces that we get back, and we don't know what Tatum looks like off of the Achilles, like with a full season, bro, we're going to set ourselves up for failure.
Don't be scared now. Don't be scared now. That boy sounds scared. That boy, I see the dark days coming. Take one injury away.
I've lived through them. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I have lived through the dark days. Them pre-KG Ray Allen years with the Delonte West, like, no, I'm not doing that again. We are the Boston Celtics. We should not ever be in play-in or missing playoff contention. No,
Hey,
no.
question for you. So if y'all do move Jaylen Brown, what would you want in return for him as a Celtics fan?
An all-star and a boatload of picks.
So would you do something like the Hero deal, the Hero and Giannis deal?
Unfortunately, like with the current state, that would be a plus for us, like getting that many pieces and picks, but not no damn Trey Murphy and Jordan Poole.
Bro, you was just high on Trey Murphy the other day.
I was high on Trey Murphy for the Pistons, not for the Celtics. Like, two different things.
He can go to Detroit, but he can't come to Boston.
Hey,
that's crazy.
Not for Jaylen Brown, bro. No, I want Castle. I want Vassell picks. Like, yes, no. That guy should be able to take over a franchise. He should be able to give you equal and adequate production as Jaylen Brown.
Hey, what about Jalen Williams?
Not this year trade like that. Like, if we can get Jalen Williams, there was a trade for it was another one of those pieces. They had Jalen Williams and let me think. We talking about Santa Clara Jalen, not the Blazers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, bro. Ain't nobody trading no Jaylen Brown for no big Jalen Williams.
The trade rumors that I've seen, I don't put it past nobody. But yeah, Jalen Williams and another piece. Like, obviously they let go of Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, but one of those guys, or even a Kassan Wallace, like I would take that. Yes, that gives us a guy who, can generate offense himself. He's been in, these important moments in the playoffs. And I think it works out for both sides because Jaylen Brown, I think, can do a lot more than Jalen Williams on OKC's roster. So, yeah, I'll be cool with that one.
I ain't gonna hold you. I would take Trey Murphy, Jordan Poole, and one other piece from New Orleans before I do that.
No, I mean, if I can get Kassan Wallace and Jalen Williams, what?
I'm not sold on that.
What are we talking about? Over Trey Murphy and Jordan Poole? Are we serious?
And another piece.
What, Yves Messi? Like, what other piece? Zion?
Herb Jones.
Okay. That can at least start the conversations. But, we shouldn't be talking about this, bro. Like,
this man talking about Boston, we ought to be back. Yeah, all right. Let's see if Tatum can carry. We saw what JB could do. Let's see if Tatum can carry.
If we mess this up, I was about to cuss again. My bad. If we mess this up, this could set us back. This is gonna be one of the moments we'll be like, dang, we had so and so, but we made a mistake here, and we ain't got nobody to blame but ourselves. To be honest with you. So, I'm gonna tell you that Danny Ainge would keep Jaylen Brown regardless of how he feels. Regardless, he would still be on that roster, and I think Brad needs to go up here, and we need to do the same thing.
Do you think a deal will get made before the offseason ends or during the season? What are you thinking?
I think it's just gonna be based on Jaylen Brown's response. Like, if he goes on Twitch and airs it out, like, I think Brad's the type of president that wants to just get rid of any distractions that keep us from basketball. And that obviously comes down to roster. You start moving into preseason, you got to have your roster intact. So then it becomes, okay, what is it going to look at trade deadline? So I think it might be one of those Giannis situations where everybody thinks it's going to happen this offseason, but I think it might not happen until next year. Which is good because, I mean, I agreed with Jaylen Brown's stance because I personally would have just sat Tatum this year. We talked on the pod before. I had Philadelphia coming out of the East. Like, I thought they were gonna sit everybody, let Anthony Simons cook, and then trade him for a high first. But they rushed everything. Tatum got hurt again, and thank God it wasn't a worse injury than the Achilles. But I think we tried to rush it back, and it just wasn't conducive to anybody because I honestly think we might have been better if Tatum would have just sat out.
Yeah, I was surprised y'all move off of Simon so quick. That honestly surprised me when y'all made that move, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
And we messed up thinking that Vucevic could be a premier big in the playoffs when, I mean, I think even we got a 70 or 65% MB and he was still cooking. So we need somebody to, anchor us on the back end. And I just don't think we have that yet. It's a lot to put on Cueto. Now, Mitchell Robinson, I'm just throwing out names. Like, we need a guy that can anchor us defensively.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What's another team you want to talk about before we get into the draft talk? Oh, I got one. So this is like a minor trade, but JR gets shipped off to Brooklyn and Nick Claxton ends up with the Bulls. Like, how did you feel about that trade? I think, we were both disappointed in JR's performance in the playoffs, but he got shipped off to Brooklyn. I think it's going to be one of those Knicks situations again where, he gets his own team, but I don't think it really amounts to much until he gets traded for a contender again.
Yeah, and I done told you before to stop calling that man JR. I had to think about who you was talking about for a second. I'm like, JR. Stop calling him that, bro. That man's name is Julius. Julius Randle. That's who we talking about, everybody. Y'all are lost. We are talking about Julius Randle.
JR. Everybody knows JR.
I'm calling this man JR, bro. Like, JR. Julius Randle. Yeah, I mean, he gonna get his own team. Is Michael Porter Jr. coming back?
Yeah, I think he's still on the contract.
Okay, so you got Michael Porter Jr., you got Julius Randle. They not doing nothing.
Right.
They both gonna put up great numbers. Like you said, I'm pretty sure somebody gonna try to trade for them. If they're not, free agents, I think somebody definitely gonna try to get both of them. Because Michael Porter Jr. looked great last year. I'm not gonna hold you. He was out there cooking. Nobody was watching, but he was out there.
All-star.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they're in a good position. They had a lot of young talent on that team. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But yeah, I feel like both of them need to get moved. Julius and Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. I really don't think it really amounts to much. I think it gives them a veteran for a Michael Brown Jr., Igor Denham, those young guys. But Brooklyn has no direction. I feel like even as we'll talk about in the draft, I think they don't really have a plan moving forward. I feel like Brooklyn's one of those situations like pre KD, I believe. Yeah, pre KD and Kyrie, when they had those boatload of pieces with Kenny Atkinson's, the Karis LeVerts, the Jared Allens, all those pieces. Like, I think they're trying to do the same thing, wait on a star and try to build that again instead of actually developing players and, building wisely. I think they're just waiting for another star dump. And Julius Randle, JR, adds to that with Michael Porter Jr. because I think both of them have been all-stars before. And I just don't know. I think for Minnesota, it was a money dump. Claxton leaves and goes to the Bulls, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't get Brooklyn's plan on moving forward.
Yeah. I don't know. They won 20 games last year. Michael Porter Jr. was their best player. Add Julius Randle, okay, but if you're gonna add Julius Randle, you still got Michael Porter Jr. Like you said, to your point, go get another star.
Right.
You need like a star, not somebody on the same caliber as those two. You need somebody better than those two.
Kawhi?
No, they need a guard.
De'Aaron Fox?
Is he a star? Just answer that question.
I think he's a lower tier star. Yeah. For sure. I think he had a bad series, but I think he's still a star.
What is that doing in the East?
Nothing. But I'm saying, what kind of when you say guard, like what is that player? Kyrie, and we've seen that, and he's not going back to Brooklyn. Like,
You want to know something? I got a perfect player for them. A certified loser.
don't you say it, man?
You already know who I'm saying. You already know who I'm about to say. Go get him.
No,
Go get him. Devin Booker. Go get him.
Disgusting.
Go get him. D Book. He like to shoot the ball just like Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle.
That is going nowhere quickly. Devin Booker is staying in Phoenix.
Devin Booker, MPJ, and Julius Randle. That's a fringe playing team right there. Losers.
Devin Booker is staying. My guy is staying in Phoenix for the rest of his career. He's gonna be the greatest.
Go get D Book, man. He like to lose anyways, man. Go get D Book. That'll sell some tickets.
Nah, he's good. No. All right, let's get into some draft talk, man. So the draft happened Tuesday. AJ went number 1. I think for the general consensus, 1 through 4 was kind of what everybody expected. So we'll start there. Like, how did you feel about the top 4?
Yeah. I feel like the 4 that went, the top 4 was expected. Maybe Cam Boozer before Darren, but it is what it is. I feel like they got a whole bunch of like forwards down there anyways. You got Jaren Jackson, you got Laurie still, so that would have been interesting to draft Boozer there, because I feel like he plays that similar type position as those two. So I mean, going guard with Darren seems like the right decision. Hopefully he can stay on the court and actually play, and not, take too many nights off. But Boozer going to Memphis, changing the guards. They literally started trading everybody after they traded Bane and Jaren Jackson. So they're in rebuild mode. That's gonna be interesting to see how he looks there. And then Caleb going to Chicago. We're gonna see what happens because they got Matisse too down there. So they got some young talent down there. We're gonna see what happens. All 4 should come in and play immediately. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think like top 2, they really have good problems. I mean, obviously we talked about AD, but you got Sar, now you got AJ filling in. You got, still Bubba Carrington, you got Trey Johnson, Trey Young. And I feel like, even with the Jazz, I feel like people don't understand, like, who cares if people say they don't want to be there? Like, Danny Ainge's going to pick you regardless. And I feel like it's going to be interesting to see now that they haven't paid Keontae and they're dealing with the contract disputes with Walker. If them drafting Darren was like, hey, Keontae, you're just going to have to get it out of the mud. And I'm curious to know what that starting lineup looks like, because if Darren Peterson pops, where do you play him? Do you play him at the 2? Do you play him at the 1 with Keontae? Or you bring him off the bench? And then the question is going to be around Ace Bailey. Like, I think Ace can still contribute, but that front court is very is filled. Like, you got, if they bring Walker back, obviously you still have Jaren Jackson. So the question is, where is he going to fit in the whole mold? Do you play him at the 3? What does that look like? I'm not really a big fan of the Cam Boozer to Memphis, just because, like, I just don't know what Memphis is trying to do. Don't think you can move off of Ja. I'm curious to know what that organization is going to do at guard. Obviously, you still got guys like Cedric Howard and like GG, but for Cam Boozer, I just don't know if that organization is conducive to his development and winning. I just feel like they're very dysfunctional. So I wasn't really happy for him with that. I actually really like the UNC guy, Caleb, going to Chicago. I think it kind of, I know it gets kind of, cluttered with him and Matisse, but I think Caleb Wilson can adapt. And I feel like he's just a culture guy that can come in and then, really change the culture day one. Like, he has high expectations of himself. And I just feel like if he develops, like I don't see him not being like a KG type of player who can knock down shots and dominate around the rim. And I would love to have those kind of problems because I think you'll be more susceptible to get off of a Patrick Williams and some of those other guys in order to build around Caleb before you worry about the problem with him and Matas. And we know that Josh Giddey is a facilitator who is not really looking to shoot first, but can facilitate the offense. So I think that Chicago's going to be exciting. Obviously, we talk about later on. They got Dylan Swain too. So I feel like they made a lot of great moves. I feel like they still have some more to go, but definitely steps in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think to your point too, with the top four, it's like they're all versatile. Like
Right.
they can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions, and I think that's a plus.
Yeah.
To your point with the Grizzlies, it's like you said, dysfunction. No real stability there over there. So we gonna see what happens with Boozer. But I feel like with the Jazz, like Ace Bailey, like long athletic, Darren Peterson, long athletic. That's gonna be a big lineup. If Ace Bailey starts, put him at the two, put Peterson at the one, 6'6", 6'9". You got Laurie Markkinen, that's what, 6'10", 6'11". Jaren Jackson and Walker Kessler. That's a big lineup.
Yeah.
That could be crazy. But we gonna see. Like I said, a lot of question marks still with Walker Kessler and Laurie, but they got some young talent over there.
Yeah. I think, just moving forward, the Keaton Wagler pick surprised me. I know that Darius was going to, the Kings like Darius, but I thought he was going 5 to the Clippers. And, later on, I thought that, to kind of replace Zubac, they were going to go Mara at the 5. But Keaton Wagler, like he had some splashes in Illinois. And I guess the thing is, the early years with Tyrese Halliburton in Sacramento, he didn't pop as much because he was playing the two beside De'Aaron Fox. I'm curious to know what that looks like with Keaton Wagler because I think he needs the ball in his hands, but you got Darius Garland there, so it's like both of them I think have issues defensively. So that's going to be one of the things I'm curious to see how they develop because Darius Garland's not going to play any defense, but I think that Tyrese didn't pop until he got the Pacers because he was able to be a ball dominant guard, and I think Keaton Wagler needs to be that in order for him to pop. I just don't know how much he can play off ball with Darius Garland and how that's going to look.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to play off ball some. But like I don't know, bro. I feel like 5 was a little too high for him. But we're gonna see. I feel like the Clippers are in an interesting spot too because it's like they moved James Harden. You don't know what's gonna happen with Kawhi. They're low key in a rebuild, low key. So we'll see. I was low key surprised that Mikael Brown went that high at 6. In all honesty, I saw him play at Louisville a few times, but I mean he's solid, pretty good. But once again, what's the direction in Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's my only thing. I think I've been watching Mikal since he was in high school. I think if he was healthy, like obviously the back injury before March Madness kind of hurt him in terms of projections, but I feel like he was one of the top players in the draft. The problem is I just don't get the direction. You just went guard with Igor last year, and I just feel like they're kind of top heavy when it comes to guards, but I just don't get necessarily what you're going to do. Are you going to trade those pieces? Or are you just going to just throw the ball out there and say the best man wins? And then you obviously got Julie, but I feel like those two players kind of didn't make sense to me. And you traded away Nick Claxton, who I think is the one of your most promising bigs. And so now you're putting the onus on Deron Sharp to be that 5 for you. So I watched him at UNC. I think that Deron has a lot more development to go. So I'm just curious to know what that looks like moving forward because they just have a bunch of pieces and no real direction. And I think that's not really conducive for Mikael Brown in terms of his development. Yeah. Moving to 7, like with Darius Akov. he has DeMar and Russ and Sabonis, but I doubt that all of them are going to be there by the time the season starts. I think I think the Kings in the same situation. It's like, what are we doing? I guess is it just going to be the like Philadelphia with AI, and you just say, hey, we're just going to let you just rock out. Like I kind of didn't get the plan for Sacramento.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Mhm.
I'm not mad at that, bro. If they give him the keys, we all know Sacramento about to be sorry. Ain't nobody expecting Sacramento to win no game. Get another high draft pick, get another young, high talented player, pair with him. This about to be a rebuild in Sacramento. Get rid of all these old dudes. DeMar, bye. Zach LaVine, bye. Sabonis, you can go too. Or if you want to keep Sabonis, cool. But this we about to give him the ball and let him go.
For sure. And I think he's going to pop. I love Darius Aiko. My thing is, I think it's going to be like their other point guards, where it's you're going to see the best of them, and then he's going to be like, I'm out.
Well, hopefully they draft some better talent around him. That's all I can say. But hey, if that's your track record in Sacramento, whoop-de-doo. Peace. We out. I'm about to get mine, though. That would be my mindset going into it. I'm about to get mine. And he's in a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Only problem with him is a little bit of issues with his height and the defense. But like you said, hopefully the Kings surround him with the talent for him to pop and utilize his strengths.
Even if they don't, bro, I'm shooting the air out the ball. Yeah, I'm small. Yeah, I might not defend. Bro, y'all drafted me at 7. I'm about to get mine.
Yeah. So moving on, like I'd take in the group, like I think the Spurs win the draft, but I also think right here with the Hawks, they got a lot of steals. And I think with Kingston Flemings, like he definitely helped with that Houston offense last year. But people don't realize how athletic Kingston is. And I think he immediately comes in and produces with that roster. I think it gives a good compliment to Jalen Johnson. And he doesn't necessarily have to do the bulk of the scoring because they traded for Aaron Wiggins, who I think is going to be a centerpiece on that offense, along with re-signing CJ McCollum. And later on in the draft, they got Zuby. And I feel like Zuby is one of those players where you're not looking at it in terms of the next decade, but I think he can come in right away and produce. A little undersized big, but his motor is, very much unquestionable. And so I think that what he did at St. John's, I believe he'll be able to give you that same production, whether starting or off the bench, more likely off the bench. But I definitely loved the Hawks draft this year.
Yeah, and I think Kingston can kind of be in that Dylan Harper type of role, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where he can come off the bench and potentially start if needed. And he's behind a good vet in CJ McCollum. We saw what CJ did this past season. Like, he's still playing at a high level. So he's not going to be coming in, asked to do, that heavy lifting load like a Darius Acuff. And Atlanta has a solid team around him. Like, we saw what Atlanta did this year. And like you said, Zuby Ejiofor from St. John's can come in right immediately and give them quality minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And like similar to Kingston, can come off the bench. These are 2 great bench pieces for the Hawks.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year, Kingston's going to be starting, though. Honestly, I think he's that good. So I feel like he's going to be the starting.
I don't know. Unless they play him alongside CJ.
Yeah,
slide CJ to the 2. Because shoot, who's there 2 right now? Dyson Daniels.
So you keeping Nikhil and just Alexander Walker off the bench and just keep him on the 6 man?
Oh well, yeah. I guess you could start him. Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't know what their plan with Aaron Wiggins is too, because he probably would be starting if they're. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. That's what I'm saying. Because I think Aaron Wiggins is capable of doing so because he definitely popped with OKC. I think the reason he was on the bench was because it was OKC.
So would you keep CJ at the 1?
It really comes down to Clint Snyder's plans. I personally wouldn't. I think CJ, going back to the Lehigh, like his bread and butter is being off the ball. But I feel like I just don't know what their plan is. Let me say that.
Yeah.
I think Kingston, he can facilitate, he can score. And I think that in terms of being a franchise centerpiece, he can be that. I
Mhm.
think obviously it's going to be Jalen Johnson in that role,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just
I
really
just view him more as like a natural point guard versus really anybody else that they have. Even when you look at Wiggins and McCollum, like I feel like Kingston Flemings can be that one guard, but like we said, like CJ still playing at a high level. He had the ball in his hands majority of the time this past season. So I mean, maybe if you're comfortable moving CJ off the ball, maybe you slide him to the two and
yeah,
start Kingston. But if not, CJ as a point guard isn't terrible. Isn't a
yeah,
terrible option.
for sure.
We'll see.
How old is CJ? Um,
Mm,
Late 30s?
I feel like he probably around like Kawhi age. I would think. I don't think he older than
Yeah,
Kawhi, is he?
34, 34.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because we saw what he could do against New York. So I mean,
And
if he
what?
can bring
Yeah.
that
What? He only signed what, a 1 year deal or something?
1 year 21.
Hmm.
So what that shows me is that they think that they can be a lot better than they were last year, and that CJ can at least contribute. So
I wonder why he only signed a 1 year deal though.
I don't know. Maybe it was the number like 21. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I guess the biggest shock of the draft happened with Dallas at 9. Um Morez was the second big for Michigan, but Dusty May must believe in him. And I think looking at the film, like Morez is a more athletic big. So I think what this number one signals to me is that either a Lively or a Gafford might be on the move. But this was Dusty May's guy. I think some of that you have to think about with NIL and whatnot in terms of why he didn't get as much playing time. But I'm curious to know what he looks like in the league. And I think this kind of signals the way that Dusty May wants to play fast, athletic bigs, got like a Clint Capella that can, facilitate, not necessarily on offense, but defensively be an anchor, um, and also catch alley oops. So this kind of helps Cooper in terms of where they want to play. I'm curious to know if they're going to play Cooper at the 4 or the 3. But what do you think about the pick?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Like you said, Dusty May got his guy. Um, Once again, similar to like Kingston Flemings, like he can come in and play, be a backup big. I don't necessarily see him coming in and starting day one. Especially with him having Gafford and Lively and Cooper Flag already. Um, he can give them good quality minutes, solid role player to start off, and then we can see how he continues to develop.
Yeah, no, I feel that. So I got Brandon Burries at 10, the Milwaukee. I think going alongside Tyler, Ryan Rollins. I think Brandon Burries gives you offense. Um, I wasn't the biggest fan of him in college, but I think he's a well-rounded combo guard, and can knock down the three. But I think one of the problems is that he's one of the older players in the draft, and he really didn't pop as much until this past year with Arizona, which was surrounded with talent. So I'm curious to know what he's going to look like. I think they stretched a little bit too high at 10 to get him, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like similar to what I say about Morez, it's like he can come in and give you quality minutes. Like I don't think anybody's looking for him to come in and start day one and be the star type player. So I mean, I'm excited to see some of these guys in some of these situations that they're in because they can come in and it's not a lot of pressure on them. Um, like you said, like after that first game at Arizona, it was like everybody was big on Cole Pete, and then all these other guys just came out of nowhere for Arizona. Everybody was high on Cole Pete. Ended up going, late in the first round. So we gonna see. But I think he would be a solid guard, good size, that can help them and contribute.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. I I, I wasn't too high on him coming out of college, but we'll see. I think that he could be um if Taylor likes him and plays him in the right positions. I think he could pop. I just don't necessarily he's one. I don't necessarily think he's one of those guys where you can just hand him the ball and say go generate the offense to me, but we'll see. Um, so we'll just go with a couple more. We'll have to do all of these, but I guess right here we'll do Yaxel and Ade. So Yaxel went to Golden State at 11. Um, and like I told you, I feel like he is. I think the oldest in the first round. Um, so I think he can come in and plug in right away with the Warriors offense. I just think long term, I'm just curious to know what the Warriors' plan is moving forward because I think that they think they're farther than what they are, and I don't think that with his age you can necessarily put him in trades as a valuable asset. Not saying not any smut on his name, but I just think the age is one of those Dalton Connect situation where it's just like he's kind of old to be considered a prospect.
Yeah, I feel like this first year is going to say a lot because if he can come in and contribute, whether that's defensively, whatever his specialty ends up being in the NBA, if he could do it at a high level, they can get him moved. Um, because teams are always looking for people that can come in and contribute right away. And if he's able to do that, being that he was what, a 6-year college player, if he can come in and contribute day one, he can help a team.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar to several of these other players, it's like it's not going to be a lot of pressure on him to
Yeah,
come in and play 30 plus minutes a game. He can come in and give you 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and be a quality player.
yeah. I feel like just stopping there. Like I think that I'm curious to know with these next couple of drafts of what that looks like because you might get a lot more Yaxels. Because I think one of the bigs from Florida, Thomas Hall, he was projected to come out, but he told the guys that he was making too much money at Florida. I think he told like the Draymond show through what's the guy's name? Will Richard, like was talking about the money they were making in Florida, and I wonder how many older people are going to stay in college and just come in and try to be a role player like a Yaxel, versus being a highly touted prospect and only spending 1 year in college like they used to.
Yeah, you could definitely see it more, like you said, especially with the NIL and not just basketball, but other sports as well.
Yeah,
You collect that NIL back. There's no rush. We saw it with Dante Moore, right? Where he went back to college. He didn't want to, enter the draft. He didn't want to go to the Jets. We saw it with Olivia Miles in WNBA. So I mean, we probably gonna see that more.
yeah, yeah. So a day seems to be the answer that OKC has for the Wemby situation. I think they're probably going to move off of Hartenstein, and I think Ade is a little bit more talented and well-rounded than Hartenstein. I feel like nobody really talks about Mara's offensive game, but I think that looking at Michigan throughout the year, I feel like Mara provides a little bit more on both ends, and he's 7'2", so you can't teach that. I'm just curious to know, what that looks like for the rest of OKC's roster moving forward. Because I
Yeah,
personally don't think that they thought that he was going to fall this low. Personally,
yeah. I mean, shoot. If they ended up getting a steal, OKC does it again. I mean, shoot. I feel like he can come in and contribute. Like similar, like I said, like it's not going to be a lot of pressure for him to come in and start. Like they have Chet. Chet's going to be down there if they want to continue to run a double big and see how it looks. Um, I think Jalen Williams is still on the big. Jalen Williams is still on the roster, so
mm-hmm.
you got some talent over there already that's down low. So I mean, we gonna see.
Yeah. So I guess for the rest of this, I'll give you some of my surprises. I didn't think that LeBaron was going to fall that low, but I think him along with Maxi and VJ, it's going to be one of those similar situations as with the Jared McCain situation because I think LeBaron's going to pop real early. Um, and Philadelphia has never had an issue with guards. I guess the question is going to come down to their bigs and what they're going to do with Quentin Grimes, along with what they're going to do about Embiid. If Embiid can give you a healthy season, I think this is a good roster. I text y'all in the group about the Spurs. I think the Spurs want to draft me, but it's going to fall on Jaden's health. Like there have been a couple of tweets of people watching him like walk around with the knee sleeve on. He's getting surgery to clean up some stuff around his knee, but health is going to be a big thing. And I think them supplementing it with your guy Malik and Terrace, it it's signal to me that if this doesn't work out and he doesn't play, we still got other guys that we can consider prospects in that 4 and 5 position. I feel like Malik is one of those Spurs kind of guys. He's a very intelligent player and plays defense. And just last thing I'll say before you go is like, I think one of the steals in the draft is the Celtics with Chris Sinat. Like, Chris is one of the highest touted prospects, coming into Houston. They loved him coming into Houston. I feel like because of Houston's play style, his game wasn't able to be seen as much because I don't think that he's this defensive stalwart, but I think that his size and athleticism, he can pop just like Jalen Johnson. And I'm curious to know what he looks like under our development program, because if he pops, I think for him to go that low when a lot of mock drafts going into the season had him top 10, I think it was one of those things that went under the radar, but he definitely has the potential to be an all-star in the next 5 to 6 years.
What position do you think y'all will play him at?
The 4. Easily, yeah.
What, slide Tatum back to the 3?
Yeah, because I think everybody slides up, barring the Jaylen Brown news. So, yeah. What about you? What are the rest of your thoughts?
I wasn't mad at the Alex Caravan pick. Remember him going to wait, did he go to Cleveland or did he go to Sacramento?
He got traded to Sac, so he got drafted by Cleveland, but he's going to Sacramento.
Either way, I'm not mad at it. Go team up with Acuff. He'll get minutes depending on what happens with the veteran guys that they have with Levine, DeRozan, Sabonis. He should step in and get some good minutes, stretch the floor, get him a shooter. So we'll see. Shout out to my guy Isaiah Evans as well, getting drafted, going to Minnesota. So yeah, shout out to him. We got no reaction from Collin.
Isaiah nice. It's gonna be curious to know what he looks like going into the pros. Only reason I say that is because like I know he's not the same player as these guys, but when you think about like even Terrence Shannon, who's the guy I'm thinking about from Kentucky? The guy that didn't play. Huh?
You talking about Malik Monk?
No. Who's the guy that Minnesota had on their roster and they never played him? Remember?
Oh, Rob Dillingham.
Yeah, like Rob Dillingham, both high octane scorers, and they came in the league and never played. And I think some of that is just because of them not being a defensive presence and because of like, just the rotation with Chris Finch. I think losing Naz Reid, somebody has to step into that bench role, and it might be him, but they still have, Jaden Grimes. I forgot his name. He's from the Nuggets, but like, I think I would have liked to see him develop a little bit more. No question that he, can shoot the ball and score. There's no question about that. It's just being able to be a pro and be more well-rounded is what I'm curious to know how his game evolves. And we know that he's not going to pass the ball. So I don't think that's going to fly a lot in, the pros. So
it's going to fly. He ain't going to let it fly. That boy ain't seen a shot he don't like. But I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how he could fit in. I think he has great size, 6'6", 6'7". And I think that's probably going to be the differentiator between him and like a Rob Dillingham, who's more of a traditional point guard. I feel like you put Isaiah on the wing, let him rock out. He could be a Michael Porter Jr. type player.
Yeah,
definitely got to improve his defense, but shoot, if he could hit shots, he can be on the court.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then one last thing too. I like the Braden Smith pick.
I was literally just about to say him,
bro. That boy could pass that ball,
bro.
Him and Halliburton, that would be crazy.
Yes, I literally was about to talk about Braden Smith because it's like, but he almost won the Wooden Award this year. Like, he is not sorry. Like, everybody say he's in the second round, a little bit undersized, but I think he can facilitate an offense just as good as Tyrese Halliburton. And I think this might mean goodbye to TJ McConnell, but I'm just curious to know what he looks like, because if he has his own team, like, he's one of those players where it's like, yeah, second round, but him and Trey Kaufman-Moran carry Purdue. So I think they could have that same effect in the league this year, because I think Trey went to Indiana too, right? Am I tripping?
I'm not sure.
Let me see. Yeah, Braden went to Indiana, and then Trey Kaufman went 59 to Indiana. Or he went to San Antonio. Well, no.
Yeah, he got traded to Indiana. It looked like.
So he's going to Indiana.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. See. Yeah. And their play style is just real low key. But when you look up and it's like, oh man, Indiana is actually a good team, is because they got a depth like Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman. So those are the two people I was like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like Vassar at UNC, like he gets to go to LA, but we offered him a good contract for him to come back. And
I saw that. I think they said y'all offered him like $5 million, like $5.1 million or something. And it was like, dang, he was like a 51st, 52nd overall pick.
And I think next year, if he would have, like with the roster, prayerfully, that we look good this year. But I think if he would have come in and anchored this defense, he could have been a first round next year. I just don't know why he left that money on the table just to go in the second round where he'd be making significantly less. But that was the last tidbit I had with his draft.
Hey, question, because when we were talking about the draft, you were talking about Philly, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll make a big splash in like free agency in this offseason? Do you think they'll do anything drastic to switch up their roster?
Nah. I just don't know. Like, I don't even know who the new GM is because they let go of Morey. But I really just feel like they're probably just going to go with the status quo because I don't think that Joel is that valuable in terms of moving off of him. And I think they looked at the Celtics series and they're like, man, we were right there. Like, couple of small tweaks. I don't think anybody was beating New York, but I feel like they think they're more in contention than they thought. I think they really think they're better than us, which sucks. Yeah. Who is the surprise team next year, like based on currently constructed, that you have for next year?
Now, when you say surprise, you mean like didn't make the playoffs or what?
Anything. Like either didn't make the playoffs or, playoffs to be in a contender. I guess my question would be, and this in terms of surprises, like, is Utah ready to win? Because I feel like they have the talent, but I think they could, it's one of those situations where like they could either be really decent or they could suck again. But I don't think that there's a lot of good players in the next year's draft for them to want to tank again. And I'm curious to know what they do with Walker, Kessler, and Laurie. But I think if they had their roster right now, I think that they could definitely make a move.
You wanna make another bogus claim like you did about the Wizards?
Bro, I was a year old.
Go ahead. No, hey, listen. It was a year ago. It's a new year. Go ahead and say something bogus about the Jazz. Go ahead. Where you think the Jazz make the play in?
First of all, hold on. The Wizards' take was not terrible. I just did not.
They were last in the East.
I had to wait until
they were last in the East. They won 17 games. It wasn't terrible. They were the worst team in the East. It wasn't terrible.
What their record going to be this year?
Hopefully better than 17-65.
They will.
I would hope so.
I'm not ready to guarantee any of those. I'm just curious to know what it's going to look like.
Can they get 30 wins?
The Washington Wizards? They better.
What about can they get 40 wins?
Nah, I guess tricky.
Okay, all right, let's go to the Jazz. The Jazz won 22 games last year.
They won more than
that. Can they win 35?
Yes. Guarantee.
Okay. Can they win 38?
You get closer to that 40.
38 gets them in the play-in this year. Because Golden State went 37-45 and had the last play-in spot. Can they win 38?
And Utah win 38 games this year. Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh. Yeah, nah, let's hold out on that one.
Let's hold out on that one.
Let's hold out on that one. Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like looking at some of these teams that missed the playoffs, it's like I haven't seen any of them do anything, drastic that can get them over the hump compared to these other teams that's in front of them. I mean, maybe Indiana with health can get back in the mix, but other than that, like I'm not sold on Washington, I'm not sold on Brooklyn, I'm not sold on Chicago. Milwaukee might have gotten worse. And then you look at the West, New Orleans, Dallas, Memphis, Sacramento, Utah. Those are the teams that missed the playoffs. I mean, maybe Dallas if they can get healthy, maybe. Depending on what happens with Kyrie as well.
Yeah, I think I'm curious, and like Dusty has won at FAU, and he's just obviously won at Michigan. Just curious to know if that translates to Dallas and what he does with Cooper. I think they are contender for surprise, but I don't necessarily think that's surprise because they have a good team, especially if Kyrie comes back. I just don't know necessarily like what, like some of these sorry teams, like I just don't know what it's gonna look like for them in terms of this new lottery construction, because it's like there might be really sorry teams that are really good at the beginning of the season that mail it in because they're in the middle of the pack now. So I just don't know. Like I feel like there's a lot of potential, but like for instance, I'm looking at a New Orleans, and Zion didn't have a terrible year last year. He was decent. And if they keep their roster like it is, I'm curious to know what a step up looks like with Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Who did they have a draft pick this year? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, they have the potential to be a play-in team, but now that they have Jamal Mosley, I'm curious to know what that looks like. But they also could be sorry. That's the other thing, and it's kind of tough to, say.
Okay, let's switch it around then.
Okay.
Looking at some of the teams who made the playoffs last year, do you think anybody needs to go out and make a big move this offseason?
Yes, but I don't think they're going to Cleveland. I'm just not a big James Harden fan in terms of like the playoff push. Like I saw some trades with us and Mobley, but we've been waiting for that Mobley step up for 3 to 4 years now. I just feel like they're kind of still going to be middle of the pack, and a lot of it's going to fall on Donovan. And even like we said in the playoffs, like there was some stinkers from Donovan too. So I feel like a Jaylen Brown would probably be the best fit for them. I just don't know if they make those moves.
Yeah, I'm looking at a team like Houston, man. We talked about it last year. They got some pieces that they can move to go get somebody if need be. And I feel like they kind of fell short of expectations last year. So we're gonna see. Hopefully they can do something in free agency. Or make a trade to go get somebody. But even Denver. Look at Denver. Is it time to blow it up yet? Are we getting close to that time yet?
When you say blow it up, like are you just saying get rid of Aaron Gordon and Murray, or are you saying
maybe Jokic?
I don't see that ever happening though, personally.
So you think they're just gonna continue to lose with Jokic?
I mean, the thing is, bro, I don't necessarily think they're that far off. I think health is a big concern with them because I think if Aaron Gordon stays healthy this year and last year, I think they're a better team than they were. That look like it's just frowned upon for me to watch Jokic get clamped up by Rudy. So I don't see that happening again. What about Orlando? Just feel like you can't run that same roster back out, bro.
I mean, you probably can't, but like, who are you giving up? And are you willing to give them up? Because that's what it's gonna come down to. Are you willing to move off of Franz or Paolo? That's what it's gonna take. I don't think you're gonna be able to move no role players on that team to get anybody, of significance. I mean, they still got Desmond Bain. Do you try to move him?
I think because you traded 4 first rounds for him,
Yeah,
I just don't. Yeah, you got to get something out of it. But they were right there. They were second in the Southeast standings, like behind obviously Charlotte, Miami, and Washington. Miami's going to get better, even if we talked about it before. If Charlotte even stays status quo, Washington's going to be better. So that division is going to look much tougher. So I just don't know what the plan is because those guys are going to get expensive, and I just don't think it's the championship level.
Yeah, and like you said, Mosley's not there no more, so we're gonna see what a new coach can do.
Yeah. What do you think Kawhi is going? Do you think he stays in Clippers or does he get get traded?
I think he'll get traded. Like we talked about with the Clippers draft is like with drafting Keaton Wagler's like they're low key in a rebuild. And you might as well go trade Kawhi, try to get something for him, and then let him just sit around and rot. Essentially, you're not winning nothing out west with that roster, unless you think you can bring somebody else in.
So you got Benedict, you got Kawhi, you got Darius Garland, Keaton, and now you got Henry Vassar. I think. Do you still have what are they doing? Is Bradley Beal still on the roster?
It don't matter. It don't matter. Because what is he contributing? Bro is stealing money. Highway robbery. Money heist.
Hey, say no man. All right, man.
That man's collecting a check, bro. That man is not pressed to get back on the basketball court.
Nah, I haven't heard nothing from Buddy.
Bro, nothing. Not a thing.
I haven't even seen any workout videos. Like,
bruh. Nothing, bro. Buddy been quiet because he know he's stealing.
That is funny, bro.
He said, I'm gonna just chill over here and get my little money, man. Take care of my family. We good.
Buddy probably was the one that dropped the Kawhi story with the trees. It was like, yeah, y'all focus on him.
Yeah.
Right, before we go, give me your. We've already seen a litany of different moves, big moves. Give me your boldest prediction for the offseason that's yet to happen.
I feel like the next big domino is Jaylen Brown. I'll give you a prediction on where I think he'll go. I'll do that.
Okay.
I don't think he'll stay out east. I ain't gonna hold you. Jaylen Brown to the Spurs.
4.
De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson, and I'll give you Vassell. And I'll throw in 2 first-round picks or something.
Okay. Okay.
I low-key wouldn't be mad if he go to Houston either. That package might be a little bit weaker though. But
bring him back with Ime.
KD and JB and a Amen Thompson. Big 3. Sengun. Would you take Sengun in a trade? Who would you want? If Jaylen Brown went to Houston, who would you want off that team? Because assuming they're not trading Amen and assuming they're not trading KD.
I was about to say, give me
Sengun. Would you want Jabari?
I was about to say Sengun, Jabari, and probably
Reed?
a bunch of pick swaps.
Would you take
No,
Reed?
not because we got Peyton.
Mm.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll take that. Maybe Eason. I don't know how the money's gonna work because Sengun, I think, is getting a big contract, but Jalen's getting paid like a superstar.
I feel like that would be crazy. Jaylen Brown and Min Thompson defensively with KD. That could be crazy.
And I guess you hope Van Fleet comes back, healthy.
Yeah, they would still need a point guard.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
I guess my bold prediction: Kawhi returns home.
San Antonio?
Yeah.
In a trade or free agency?
In a trade.
Who would they give up?
Vassell, Keldon, Carter. I'm just looking at the end of that bench. Picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not touching any of the big. Well, when I say big three, I'm saying Castle, Harper, and Wemby. So if I have to part off a box, I don't think they would have to, but yeah.
I don't think they would want him though, because they got Garland.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they didn't include him. Unless it's a 3-team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
LeBron prediction. Where you think he going?
LA. I think he stays. Like you said, him at this age, I don't think he wants to go back across the country to Cleveland. I feel like his business, his family is here. And the weird thing is I think he still wants to play with his son. So Bronny would have to be included in the trade too, which is not hard, but I don't think they're trying to move. So I think he finishes out in Los Angeles. I think the biggest thing is trying to figure out, number one, who that 5 is going to be. And, can you keep your Marcus Smarts, like those kind of guys? Because I think Ayton off the bench wouldn't be bad, but I just don't know how the money works in terms of what he's getting paid versus his fit on the roster.
You think Ayton's coming off the bench?
Where he's going to go? Are you going to trade him?
Absolutely.
Who wants him?
Somebody will take him.
So it's just going to be, but who is that big though? That's what I'm saying. Is it Kessler?
Doran. Go get Doran.
The thing with Duran though is like he's gonna want a max. And if you're the Lakers,
they're not giving him that.
Exactly. I don't know.
Where do you think Duran gonna end up then? Because it don't sound like he's going back to Detroit. They said the sides are not close on an agreement.
No, I think that was mainly because he wants to. That report that they're waiting for Kawhi or LeBron. They're not getting either of them. So I feel like they're trying to hold on that money, and then the last minute they're gonna pay Duran what he wants. Because those kind of stars, because Detroit's such a smaller market, you can't bank on free agents coming. So you got to trade the star. I mean, you got to sign the stars where you got them.
So you think Detroit gonna fold?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Duran's the best big that they've had since Drummond. So, yeah. Now, team to keep your eye out on is the Raptors too, because I saw some Kawhi news with there, but I think that they might make a splash in the offseason. So I just don't know what it is yet.
They got the pieces. They got a lot of young wings.
Yeah,
Brandon Ingram, Collin, Murray Bulls.
Yeah,
you got RJ, you got Quigley, you got Scotty. I don't think they're moving Scotty, but still.
I think they make a move for a big because I don't think they're happy with Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, Jakob Poeltl. Yeah.
So yeah.
We're gonna see. Free agency already done kicked off, man. We still got weeks of free agency left. And then we got summer league.
Facts.
So
yeah.
Our dominoes still left that gotta fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got, still got a WNBA season going. College football is coming up, and even the NFL, we got some content coming your way. We appreciate you. It's been 2 hours, man. Thank you for listening to every minute. John is on the road, but we promise to get him back in here so we can have more intellectual discussion about sports and just tune in Monday, man. I don't know if you saw the news. Serena's playing. Serena's going to be playing in the Wimbledon. I wanted to know your reaction. I was going to text you. Serena says she's back. She's back.
Go home, bro. Go home.
Oh, you want to keep LeBron?
Bring
the GOAT of tennis back.
But see, listen. Here's the thing. LeBron has continued to play. He didn't retire and come back. Bro, go home. Why are you coming back?
She's back. This is Jordan with the Wizards. She's gonna make a run.
And nobody wanted to see that. Go home. Go be a mother. Go invest in sports. Go be an owner.
Serena is back.
Become the president of the UTSA. Goodness.
She says she's here.
I want to come back and play. Why? Hang it up.
I ain't gonna lie.
Just remember I said hang it up. When she get hurt or when she lose, just remember I said it. Go home.
The only problem, like, obviously, I don't think that she lost the mechanics, but as you can tell, she lost a lot of weight. So I don't know what this Serena is going to look like at Wimbledon. You can't just come back and just go, hey, I'm going to go play in the finals. it's like, nah, I need a couple of, fillers. So yeah. But World Cup action, man, we got a bunch of sports. So that means we got a lot of content for you guys, man. We appreciate y'all for sticking on and supporting the brand, man. Like as always, if you know somebody who likes sports and wants to talk about sports, send them our content because we want to engage with you in the comments. We're going to be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that. And, we don't want to shy away from any debate because if you bogus, we're going to be in the comments right with you talking about it. So y'all let us know what y'all think about this episode.
And before we leave, Collin, go hit them comments on the on that Knicks video from halftime. Yeah. Them boys was ducking the smoke.
Nah. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a sore loser. And to see the Knicks come back at 29, because I knew when we were on live and it started to get like 19, something in me was like, bro, I need to watch this. I need to put my eyes on this because I need to direct traffic. And I was like, bro, I cannot go on live after that because the Spurs are bogus. I wanted to say some nasty things, so I had to calm down. I had to take a couple weeks off. So on behalf of my brother John, man, we just wanted to say we apologize for being so confident and
them boys was talking crazy. It was like, yeah, we about to go back to San Antonio. The series over. Them boys was talking crazy. I don't know how the Knicks gonna come back from this.
Hey, this man John was folding clothes. Hey, bro, that has never been more demoralizing in my career than watching that, bro. And this man Wemby, but it's like, bro, you literally are watching it. Y'all blow a 20-point lead. Yeah, don't get me started again. Bro, I was hot. I was getting ready to turn. Yeah. But anyways, we're gonna have more content for you guys. We're gonna make sure we took a little break because we had some stuff going on, but we're gonna try to have content weekly coming for you. So as always, make sure you subscribe so that when we do drop new content, you can be the first ones to watch it. And just God bless. And we want to do this to spread Jesus' name, even through sports. So we promise a full episode next week, actually. And until then, peace.